My husband and I were talking, and he brought up a topic that I am not familiar with, but it should definitely be covered and discussed. The topic we're about to cover is called pregnancy purging. Honey, will you please tell us what pregnancy purging is?
Well, when I mentioned the concept to you, what do you think it was referring to? Because you had your guesses.
I thought it was referring to abortions or miscarriages.
Right. And of course, I told you no. Right? It has nothing to do with that. So what is pregnancy purging? Well, first of all, you can probably tell that it has to do with what?
It sounds like purging, you're getting rid of something, so getting rid of a pregnancy?
That's why I thought it was abortion.
That's why I thought it was one of those two.
Right. So well, we know it has to do with pregnancy, correct?
Right.
And so if it has to do with pregnancy, who gets pregnant?
The woman.
So this has to do with
The female.
women. Women only. Right?
Okay.
The men are not involved. The purging part comes in, or is describing how the woman feels while she's pregnant. And the purging has to do with negative feelings, negative emotions, negative thoughts, negative actions. Right?
Okay.
And it's called purging because the female or the woman is actually trying to get rid of these feelings, but she's unable to. In her mind, she's unable to. And that's why it's called pregnancy purging. So it's not abortion. She's not trying to get rid of the expected soul. She's not trying to do any of that. Just some other things happening that are creating negative effects on the expectant mom as well as the expectant baby. Any questions so far? Or how does that sound? Maybe it sounds complicated? I don't know.
Right, I still don't see how the purging fits because it's not being gotten rid of. I mean, she's having these feelings, she's not like talking about her feelings and letting those things out, so where does the purging come in?
Well, actually, she is talking about her feelings and she's letting things out. Let's say, for example, so let's go through some scenarios.
Okay.
Here's a female, and we will go with the best case scenario, okay?
Okay.
She's married, so we don't have to worry about whether she'll be a single parent, right?
Right.
So she's married, that's why I say it's the best case scenario. She's married, happily married, actually, make it even better.
Okay.
This will be their first child, so it should be really special, correct?
Right.
The first child. So
It'd be an exciting time.
Exactly. And so now she realizes that she's pregnant. Well, how would you feel if you're the female, your first child, you find that you're pregnant?
Well, when I did have that happen to me, I was excited.
Okay.
I was happy. Didn't know what to expect, even though all the books and people giving advice tried their best to tell me.
All right. So now, and don't include me in this. And so now, well, I guess we shouldn't, let's definitely don't do that. It's probably guidance telling me not to do that.
Okay.
But so here's the female.
Right.
And so now the female's husband comes home. And again, don't put yourself into it. You don't want to draw that energy. Is what it is,
okay.
So that's why we're just painting a picture. So here's the female. Her husband comes home. She's all excited, and then she tells her husband, guess what? I'm pregnant. And her husband's response is, this is a bad time for that. How do you think this expectant mother is feeling now?
Now she's crushed.
Right? All of a sudden, she feels like there's no support, correct?
Right.
Not only that, the husband doesn't look like he wants to talk about it. He wants nothing to do with it at the moment. And this goes on for a while. A week, 2 weeks. The longer it goes on, how do you think the female starts to feel?
Really sad, because she wants this child, but her husband doesn't seem to want the child.
So now, because she's feeling disappointed, now she's questioning what's going on here, right?
Right.
She might even start saying, oh, geez, maybe I made a mistake. We shouldn't have gotten pregnant. Even she didn't plan it.
Right. She might be thinking, what am I going to do now? How am I going to take care of this kid on my own if he's not supporting me?
Exactly.
Those kinds of thoughts might be going through her head.
And so she might start thinking, well, maybe the timing is not right. It's not a good time to have this child.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment she starts doing that, that's all negative. Always remember that everything in the world is energy.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's sending that energy. It's a thought.
Right.
Emotions are very strong. They send very strong energy out. That energy goes to that expectant baby. Well, how do you think the baby's feeling at this time? Or the soul?
Possibly unwanted.
Unwelcomed, right? Now, did the female do that on purpose?
No.
It's not like she's trying to harm the baby.
Right.
She's just thinking out loud, or, this is how she's feeling. But because she's feeling that way, it's affecting the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's take it a step farther. Let's say, for example, it really is, or now the husband decides, I want nothing to do with this, and he just leaves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not divorced or anything, he just leaves. He just says, I need some time off, and just goes.
Mm-hmm.
How is she feeling now?
Probably even worse. Like he doesn't want her or the child, and what is she going to do?
Of course, now, her thoughts get even worse, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They get darker. The darker her thoughts get, the darker her emotions get, the baby starts to get even darker energy. Really negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point, the baby can decide, I don't want to be born, and so then there's a miscarriage and then everything is done. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about where the baby he does want to be born, he or she does want to be born. And so the baby decides, I'll stick through all this. But with all the negativity that's being fed into this baby's body through the umbilical cord for the mom, this baby can't help but acquire all this stuff. Because it's not like the baby can say, oh, send it back, I don't want it.
Right.
It enters the body. So then again, things start to get worse. The baby feels like my mom doesn't love me, my dad definitely doesn't want me. That's already there, that's established. Even if the dad comes back now and says, you know what, I thought about it, I'm happy that we're going to have this child and the whole thing. How is the baby feeling?
Probably doubting it, not trusting.
Damage has been done.
Right.
So now the baby's born. What do you think is going to happen now?
There will be challenges, I think, between the child and the parents, based on that.
What type of challenges do you think would
Probably
occur?
a lot of behavioral challenges.
Like?
Where the kids won't listen to the parents much, and be a lot of tantrums and trying to get their own way because trying to make it on their own.
Or they might go the other direction where they want attention all the time.
Oh, so they become pleasers, where they're always trying to make everybody happy.
And why do you think that would happen?
Because they just want to be loved.
Because they felt unwanted, unwelcomed, unloved. So they figure that if they do what they're supposed to, then please everybody, then people will love them, people will like them.
Okay.
So they can go one of two directions. They can become extremely rebellious, as in, I don't want to listen to you because you don't care about me. Or it goes the other way where I'll do whatever you say because I don't want you to get rid of me. I want you to love me. So people grow up and they might have these feelings or experience these things and they don't know where it comes from. Well, it was developed while they were still in the womb.
So pregnancy purging then is a mother having all these negative emotions and feelings, and the purge part is where it just goes right into the child.
Exactly.
So it's purged through that umbilical cord to the baby.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay?
And as you're speaking, it reminds me of a story of a lady that I'm familiar with who she was pregnant with her fourth child, and she found out shortly after she'd been gotten, I think, the first trimester that her husband was having an affair.
Ew.
Yes. So, of course, from what I know, the mother never wanted the child after that and wouldn't take care of the child once it was born. The child had behavioral issues, a lot of medical issues, and the divorce took place, of course, during the pregnancy. So
Wow.
there was a lot of, right, and of course the child reminded the mother of the father, so she wanted nothing to do with the kid.
See, that's an unfortunate circumstance for a soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, if we go back to what we've talked about in the past, you sign up for something, so the soul probably already knew. Maybe. You know,
Maybe.
You don't know for sure.
Hopefully.
But that's a great example of pregnancy. That's a worst case scenario of pregnancy purging.
Yeah.
So now, why would we bring this topic up? Why do you think we'd record a video about this?
So that women, especially, are aware of what happens when they have negative thoughts, negative emotions in relationship to the pregnancy. Because I could already imagine a woman thinking, we want this child, my husband is happy, but how am I going to handle this? I don't know how to take care of a baby. I've never changed a diaper, having all these thoughts going through their head like, oh my gosh, what if I sleep through the crying of the kid? Or what if the baby's in bed with me and I roll over onto it? You just, all these, I call them panic thoughts, because you don't know until the child is born what will happen. But that will affect the baby.
Right.
Because all that goes right through to the baby.
And those are not too bad, because those are just concerns, right?
Yes.
And at least the baby knows that he or she is wanted.
Right.
See, that's a little different. Pregnancy purging is where you're saying things like, I wish this never happened.
Oh, this was a mistake.
This was not a good idea. Exactly. This was a mistake. All right? That's pregnancy purging. The other one, they know. They know, okay, well, just like our last child, she knew that she was going to be born with health issues, and she was concerned about the financial aspect of it, how expensive it was going to be. And so then she was changing her mind. All right?
And we had to go in the opposite. It wasn't pregnancy purging at all. We were like, no, everything will be fine. Just come. Just
no, that wasn't
just
we.
come. That was me.
That
just,
was you.
just come and be born.
Because I said, okay, if that's how you feel about it. Not that I didn't want her, but I could understand. But my wife, she's like, no, tell her it's okay. I'm like,
We'll help her.
See, so not if you had, on the other hand, said, well, yeah, it's not a good idea. That's different. Because she already saw it, and
Right.
that wouldn't even be pregnancy purging, because you're just agreeing with her.
I see.
See, pregnancy purging is where the baby didn't decide that. It's just the things the woman's going through, and then she just starts to have these thoughts or doubts about whether or not this birth should take place. And
Got
again, doesn't necessarily mean that the female wants to get rid of the pregnancy at all. It's just all these doubts, which turn into negative energy that affects the soul.
Got it.
I hope I'm making that clear.
I think so.
So, the point of the story is that the female should be very careful if they're expecting. They should really pay attention to their thoughts and their emotions. And of course, human beings will have negative thoughts or emotions. But the moment you feel you've got one, and what do you do? Or you have one, change it. Turn it to something positive for the sake of your child. So the child knows that he or she is wanted. It doesn't matter what you're going through. That's where, I've heard the saying, fake it till you make it, right?
Right.
Well, this is where the mom has to really fake it. To make sure the baby feels welcome, make sure the baby feels loved, even though the conditions might not be the best.
Got it.
Women are the most powerful being, I believe, because they create. Without them, you can't have another human being. And once they realize that, and the power they have to create that solid foundation for a newborn is fantastic. They're with you for 9 months, just you and them. Nobody else can interfere, really. So take advantage of it and make it a positive environment. is what the
Make it
message
a-
is.
As positive of an experience as possible.
Exactly. Right?
Okay. Thank you for explaining. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Remember, you can find us on Facebook in our group called Clearing, Healing, and Guidance, Instagram at 190vision, our YouTube channel, of course, 190vision, and our website, 190vision.com.
Why would they go to the website anyway?
Well, if they're watching this on YouTube or seeing a posting on Instagram, maybe they want to see how they can get help. So by going to the website, they can go to the download section and get an application for consent form, actually, not an application, it's a consent form, and submit it.
It's also a more organized approach to everything, right? You can follow.
It is. You can follow
It's a
different
story,
topics.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, we'll see you next time.